It's Trial by Stone. So, okay, so first and foremost, um, lighting. Yeah, it's kind of screwy. I have a light bulb that's out on the other side of the room, so it's gonna be it's different than usual. Also, yeah, I haven't posted in a while, but I will be hopefully getting back to a little bit of the schedule. I'm gonna try to post maybe every 2, maybe every 3 days. Yeah, and I might post more than one video. I'm thinking about maybe doing another one tonight. But anyway, so tonight I am talking about Videodrome, which is one of my favorite movies. It was released in 1983. It was directed by David Cronenberg of the Fly fame. He also directed The Brood. I believe that was his first movie, and Scanners, and Crash, a few others. He's pretty well known. He's pretty cool. He's mainly known for his body horror and his sci-fi weirdness. Yeah, he started out as kind of an underground director, and as time has gone on, he's kind of become known as this really cool cult director that fans just kind of pass around his movies underground to be like, hey, yeah, check this out. So, Videodrome stars James Woods is weird. I did not know his name has two S's in it. That is odd. Nothing against James Woods. Just yeah. Anyway, and Debbie Harry of Blondie fame. So that's interesting. It was scored by Howard Shore, which has went on to do a lot of things. Most notably, Lord of the Rings did the score for that, and it is set in Toronto during the early 1980s. I also have a script for this one, a pseudo script, but anyway, it's set in Toronto during the early 1980s. Follows the CEO of a small UHF television station who stumbles upon a broadcast signal featuring violence and torture. The layers of deception and mind control conspiracy unfolds as he uncovers the signal's source and loses touch with reality in a series of increasingly bizarre hallucinations. It is very cool. So, I was kind of always aware of this film for a while when I was like really getting into horror movies. I don't know, I stumbled across it on YouTube, and I don't know, there's something about it. It was just really appealing to me. I really don't know why, because I mean, yeah, the practical effects are great, which are done by Rick Baker, the great Rick Baker of the Thing. No, American Werewolf in London. He did American Werewolf in London. Yeah, which is also a fantastic film with crazy, crazy good special effects. So yeah, the special effects in this are great. However, compared to some of Cronenberg's other movies, it's kind of there isn't nearly as much. It's a lot more subtle, if you will. Even though this is not a very subtle movie, but yeah, it's interesting. So I was always really drawn to just crazy special effects, like stuff in The Fly. However, I don't think it was the special effects that really hooked me with this. I think it was, I don't know, the story, like this just this guy who runs this TV station just comes across this, I don't know, this just film that is giving people tumors, and it's just intoxicating in this horrible way. Like it's fascinating. It almost goes to that idea of like how as humans we're just attracted to violence, which I can agree with in some way. In some ways, like why do a lot of people like action movies, or to my extent horror movies? Like, because I mean it's a relief. It's another world to transport yourself in. So it's interesting to see them go about this in like this very just extreme way, and yeah, it's just really interesting and taboo, which makes you even more curious about it. I think that was another thing about it for me. And one second, I just want to point out I have this awesome Criterion DVD, I typically try to get the Blu-rays for everything, but yes, this is my awesome Criterion uh, DVD I have along with the new Flesh. It's very cool. I just had to get it because I'm a big fan of just how my collection looks, like, and just the whole VHS format is just really cool because it totally fits a movie. And this was a big movie that was driven by, like many of the, like many cult horror movies in the '80s that were really driven by the VHS cover, which is which is interesting. Like stuff like The Stuff, which is just an excellent example of just a crazy VHS cover or cover for your VHS that would just grip you and be like, wow, that is crazy. Like for like with The Stuff, it literally says warning. Like that's just a heck of a way to get someone to watch your movie. And I'm I'm definitely sure that that's how Videodrome has become such a classic over the years. And because it was, when it first came out in '83, it really wasn't looked at too well. It was thought to be extreme and weird. Like, the dude has a orifice on his chest, and it's it's weird. He kisses a TV. It's an odd movie. It's a very odd movie, but I love it for that. And it's it's one that definitely takes multiple viewings to really appreciate as much. Like, it's very similar to me in the same way that Blade Runner was like that for me, and even The Shining to an extent. But where I was like, I watched it and I if I didn't really get a whole lot out of it, but I was like, there's just something about it where I'm like, that is just really, really interesting. And 2001 was the same way. And I was just like watching it and just like, it was just not like, you know, you're in a movie and you're watching a movie, or this is how it is for me at least, where you're just like, you're in the movie. And with like with like those four films, 2001, The Shining, Videodrome, Blade Runner, I just wasn't really like, I wasn't really all there, but at the same time I totally, like, it was like, there's seriously something about this that I'm just not getting. And after the movie was over, I was like, man, that was really weird. I don't know what I watched, but I think I liked it. And as the more I've watched these films, Videodrome in particular, I've just grown to love them. Like, I really, really love Videodrome, and I typically like to watch the film directly before I review it. However, I literally just showed my brother this the other day, and I was like, I feel like I've seen this enough, and I know enough about it, just kind of freehand talk about it. So here we are. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just a really, really interesting film, and the it also goes along with the whole. Well, one of my favorite quotes in the movie, which really kind of sums up the thesis of the movie as a whole, is television is the retina of the mind's eye, which is said by the character Brian Oblivion. And by the way, all the names in this film are great. Max Wren is James Woods' character. I just love that character name. It's so cool. It's just one of those that instantly has that like iconic feel to it. Same with Brian Oblivion. That's such an odd name. Like his middle name is just O. Brian Oblivion. It's great. It's like Edward Enigma. But yeah, it's just really cool and creative. But yeah, it goes right along with the whole the idea of the like boundary between and the boundary and the line that crosses like machine and man, like similar to films like Akira and Tetsuo the Iron Man. And it's very cool. It's very interesting. Well, those take either a sci-fi action, just anime approach, or a very extreme cyberpunk weird Asia extreme approach. This one takes a more subtle, again, not a very subtle movie, but it is more subtle, in the way that it handles these themes, and it's got some very cool imagery. I really love the scene where Max has um, they're trying to. So Videodrome, when you watch it, will give you hallucinations. It's like The Ring, where you start like things just start happening to you. Like when you watch Videodrome, it gives you this tumor, and you start to hallucinate things, and they just get worse and worse and worse. So him and his TV friends, they are like, okay, we're gonna take this machine and hook it up to your head, and it looks really goofy, but it's really really cool. And Howard Shore in the scene entirely, well, basically, okay, so yeah, so they're gonna take this machine, put it to his head, and like record his hallucinations. It's really cool and weird. And the movie starts crossing into these boundaries where you just can't tell what is a hallucination and what is not. And it's very cool. It's very open ended in that way where you can just make your own assumptions. And I really like films like that. But yeah, that scene is just whenever that's one of the scenes that I first think about whenever I think about Videodrome is the scene where he's hooked up to this machine with on his head. It's like Cerebro from X-Men, but it's goofy but kind of harrowing in a very different way. And it's cool. Like Howard Shore's score definitely elevates the scene, and I really like it. It's just really really cool. Um, I like this movie in completely different ways than I like other cult horror movies like Hellraiser and Reanimator, in a very very different way. And it's one that, like I said, it took a couple viewings for me to really 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 start to love, but I always really appreciated it and I respected it. And I really, really love Videodrome. It is a very cool movie, and I really suggest watching it if you're into cool practical effects, because there definitely are some great special effects. Rick Baker is, as always, he's on top of his game. It's great. Specifically towards the end, there's one scene. It's just is disturbing and cool. Um, yeah, I love it. But yeah, it's got some great special effects. The acting's all really good. I think it's very underrated in that way. I think James Woods gives a very interesting performance. For if nothing else, it's very interesting, and again, it's very subtle. It's a very subtle performance. A scene when he's talking to Debbie Harry and Brian Oblivion on the talk show is very cool, and it really shows a lot about his character, even though he's not doing a whole lot. And yeah, it's a really cool film. It's probably not my favorite Cronenberg film. I haven't watched Scanners all the way through, and I have been meaning to get around to watching The Brood, but I haven't yet. But I adore The Fly, so it's between The Fly and Videodrome. I kind of want to say I like Videodrome more, but I don't know. The Fly's just so freaking good. But yeah, this is my review for Videodrome. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. That sounds about right. Um, yeah, because it is definitely a weird movie, and it does drag in a few places, but overall, if if you're the type of fan who likes, or if you're the type of person who likes pulling random 80s VHS tapes out of a Blockbuster, if you go to that last Blockbuster, wherever the heck that place is, and you just pull it off the shelf and you're like, wow, this is a really weird cover. I wonder what this movie is. You'll probably like it. Um, yeah, so that was Videodrome. Just try by Stone. Peace.